It's time for a dessert extravaganza. Welcome back to Vlogmas Day 14. Hey guys, Kira here from 50 Shades of Mom, back to share another Vlogmas video with you guys, and today I'm participating in a dessert extravaganza. I am so excited to share this video with you guys. Do you remember a couple of weeks back when we did a Thanksgiving side dish collab and a whole bunch of us got together and shared different side dishes you can make for your Thanksgiving table? Well, today we got together with a bunch more ladies, and now we have a whole slew of us sharing our variations of different Christmas desserts. I love me some Thanksgiving, but dessert definitely trumps side dishes. So I can't wait to see what everybody is coming up with. So in the description box will be a playlist link for you to access everybody's videos and see what they're cooking up in their kitchen. In my kitchen, I am cooking my mom's cheesecake. So I have to say my mom is probably more of a baker and has more of a love for baking than she does for cooking in the kitchen. For me, it's a tad bit of the reverse, but what I do know about baking, I've learned from my mom. And one of her most famous things she's known for in our family is her cheesecake. It is like to die for. So I shared it in the cookbook. So if you guys do want a chance to score that cookbook on Amazon, I'll leave the link for that in the description box as well. But this time I decided to kind of change it up a little bit and do more of a Christmassy version. So this is like a peppermint bark cheesecake. You guys, this came out so good. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to share it with you guys. So let's go into my kitchen and see how I cooked my mom's peppermint bark cheesecake. Okay, you guys, so here is what you're going to need to make this cheesecake. We have on this side what we need for the basic ingredients for the cheesecake, minus just a couple of ingredients. So if you want the full recipe, you'll have to get the cookbook. But then here on this side is just a few elements of things that I am adding to kind of spruce it up and make it more of a peppermint bark Christmassy kind of a cheesecake. So the number one most important thing that you're going to need is a springform pan. This is what it looks like. It has a bottom piece which is actually going to stay underneath your cake and operate almost like a cake stand or a firm cookie sheet that it'll stay on. And then this round thing is what will pop open and release the cake out. You're going to need a box of graham cracker crumbs and some butter that you're going to melt and mix with the crumbs to put in the pan to form a crust. You're going to need some heavy whipping cream, some cornstarch, some sour cream, 4 eggs, 28 ounces of cream cheese, you guys. So that is 3 full packages and a half. You're going to need some sugar. And then you always need vanilla, but then I'm substituting the additional extract for peppermint, as well as using candy canes and chocolate chips for decor. So our first step is to build a foundation in our pan. So we're going to melt our butter in the microwave. I will end up showing you guys that that 1 stick of butter isn't necessarily always enough. You're going to have to play with the consistency of these crumbs. Now, I did end up having extra crumbs, and I'll show you guys that in a minute as well, but you always kind of have an extra and you never really know if you're going to use them all. This one thing about this cheesecake, as you can see, I just added a little bit more butter there. I went back and added like another 1/3 of a stick. But the one thing about this cheesecake is that it is time consuming, in the sense that you need to have patience. The step that I'm doing right now and the next step with the eggs are extremely tedious, but very necessary for making an absolute wonderful cake. So after you have kind of reached a consistency where you know that those crumbs are similar to packing snow, you're going to put a bunch on the bottom and make a nice firm bottom that you would want. Think about the thickness you would want underneath a cake. And then you're going to start building up your sides. Again, it takes a lot of time. It took me about 15 minutes to get this. I ended up sticking my finger in the indentation and going all around the side and just continuing to keep building it up and building it up and building it up until you have a even crust completely throughout. It definitely, again, is time consuming, but well worth it to have a nice graham crust when you take this out. Now the next step is our eggs, and again, something else that is super time consuming because you almost have to make this stiff, like as if you are beating egg whites. When you're beating egg whites, you can almost peak them, which is what you do for meringue, but here, since you still have the yolks, it takes a lot more time. I probably beat these eggs for about 10 minutes to get them fluffy like I did. And then I added the cornstarch, which is 1 tablespoon, and then a half a cup of sugar. And then you're going to mix that all together. And then you're going to start adding your cream cheese. So the key to this recipe as well is that you are using a mixer in between each step and each ingredient. So you're incorporating them slowly and you're continuing to make it creamy and fluffy every single time that you add more ingredients. So I did the half a stick of cream cheese, and then I did the next one and I cut it up into pieces, and then I used the hand mixer and mixed it again, and I continue to repeat that with each package of cream cheese. And again, after the cream cheese was done and I add the heavy cream and the sour cream, I do the same thing and I make sure to whip it really, really good in between each ingredient. So we use a half a cup of heavy cream, and then we use 2 cups of sour cream. And then we're going to come back and add 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And then I'm adding 2 teaspoons of peppermint extract. And then we're mixing again. Now it's time, you guys, to pour it into our lined graham cracker pan. So we're going to pour all of it out. I mean, look, if you do it right and you continue to beat it and you get a nice fluffy cake, literally I scraped the bowl and it's the exact amount right to the tippy top, right where you need it to be. So the measurements are definitely spot on. And then we're going to take the springform pan, we're going to put it on a cookie sheet in a 375-degree oven for 45 minutes. Once the 45 minutes are up, it should have risen just a little bit, but it will sink back down. But look at that. You can tell that the top is completely cooked and it's nice and brown around the edges. Here's my leftover graham cracker crumbs. I'm actually thinking about melting some chocolate, putting some mini marshmallows and these graham cracker crumbs in it and making a s'mores bark. And then we use the peppermint extract. We're going to melt those chocolate chips and use those candy canes later. But first, I let the cake cool for 1 hour and then I put it in the refrigerator for 4 to 6 hours, preferably overnight. But once it's good and chill and set in between, then we're going to pop open that springform pan and you're going to carefully use your hand and lift the cake out of the pan, and then we're going to set it aside. Now I put my candy canes inside of a sandwich bag, and then I just used a meat tenderizer, but you can use anything, the back of a glass or a rolling pin, and you're just going to smash all of the candy canes until you have crumbs that we're going to use to decorate the top. And then I used a bigger saucepan and boiled some water. And then I took a smaller saucepan and put it on top and put the chocolate chips inside of it and just let it sit for a while. And the steam melted it and I continued to stir. And once I got a really good creamy consistency, I loaded it into a sandwich bag and I set that sandwich bag off to the side. Then I grabbed our cheesecake and that bag of candy cane crumbs and I sprinkled it all over the top and gave a nice even decorative layer, I guess. And then I took our sandwich bag of chocolate and I snipped off the corner so that the chocolate would drip out the side, almost like a piping bag, and I laced it over the top. I probably just could have left that initial drizzle. It still looked good and it would have given enough of the chocolate feel, but I'm kind of go big or go home. There was still more chocolate, so I came back the other way, and like, who doesn't want more chocolate anyway, right? And then that was it, guys. Then I put it on my cake stand, and look at this beaut. My mom's cheesecake is the bomb anyways, but to amp it up Christmassy, it was so good. It was like her cheesecake in a Junior Mint had a baby. It like still had the cheesecake feel, but that minty like feeling in the back of your throat. It was so good. And if this looks delicious to you, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't forget to check that description box, click on the link, see what everybody else is cooking up today. I'm so excited to see the desserts everybody else is preparing. I love you guys all so much. Have a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in another video. Bye, guys.